Hello, everybody. Welcome to Social Psychology. I am your professor, Dr. Adam Randell. You can call me Dr. Adam, Dr. Randell, whichever you prefer. However, if you decide to call me Dr. Randell, I do insist that you call me Dr. Randell and not Dr. Randall, because, you know, one's my name and the other is not. This is going to be the first of 3 videos in which I try to introduce you to the class. And so in this first video, I'm just going to introduce myself and the very basics of the class. In the second video, we're going to talk about the assignments that are required for the class. And in the third one, we're going to talk about some of the big policies that apply to the class. Okay? So to start us off, I've already introduced myself, and I hope that if you haven't already, that you will jump into the introductions discussion board and introduce yourself. All right. Tell us about yourself. How did you cope with the COVIDs, right? All right. How did you get through the isolation? Did you get through the isolation? And meaning, did you not isolate? And if you didn't isolate, anyway, tell us about yourself. All right. Now, I've introduced myself. Hopefully I'll get to read your introductions and get to know you all a little bit. But now I'm going to introduce the class. So this is the class, this is social psychology. This is the class that covers one of the oldest fields of psychology. In fact, it's arguably the second oldest field of psychology. Now, why is that? Well, 3 of the very first studies done in psychology, of those 3, one of them was a social psychology study. So some of the very first research done in the whole field of psychology was social psych research. And then one of the ways you kind of define the beginning of a field is when the first textbook is published in that field. And in 1908, we get the very first social psychology textbook before other fields have their textbooks. So arguably, social psychology is one of the oldest fields. And in social psychology, we study human social behavior. Now, I know a lot of people who come into social psychology, or were in psychology, they're interested in mental health. And certainly there are social psychology aspects that are relevant to mental health. In fact, I do some research in how some of those social psych aspects are relevant to mental health, specifically depression and obsessive compulsive disorder. But the majority of social psych doesn't concern itself with mental health. Instead, it concerns itself with how people affect one another in reliable, predictable ways, and attempts to explain the ways and mechanisms by which we influence one another. All right, and so that's what this class is going to be talking about. Again, occasionally you will hear mention of mental health, but that's not going to be the focus. As I'm sure, as you've taken other classes in psychology, you've noticed that the majority of the field doesn't actually pertain to mental health. All right, the majority of the field just focuses on human behavior, because psychology is the study of human mental processes and behavior. All right. So you get more of that in this class. Now, I'm now going to turn very briefly to the syllabus, which you can find in D2L. And what you'll note, you've got the specific information here about the class, but I want to draw your attention here. All right, I'm going to be having office hours, all right, and I will have office hours all year, and you can see the times for my office hours right here. Now, those office hours will be held digitally, and this is true even for my in-person classes. All right, all my office hours this semester are held digitally, and they're held here. So when you click on that link, you'll be taken to a waiting room, and that link won't take you to a waiting room if the room is not active, but the room will only be active during my office hours. It'll also be active during the classes that I teach, which I use this room for, but I'll only be letting students of those classes in to the room during those classes. So if you want to come visit me in my office hours, which again are listed right here, you just click on that link and then wait until I admit you. All right. If I'm with a student, then it might be a little bit and I might send you a message in Zoom. But if I'm free, I'll open it up and we'll chat. Okay. Now, if you need to get a hold of me, oh, I forgot to do some rearranging here. Here we go. I'll fix this I'll fix this and post the fixed one to D2L. Email is the best way to contact me. All right. My policy for email is I do my best to respond within 24 hours if you send that email between Monday and Friday at 4:30. Now, if you send an email after 4:30 on Friday, well, you probably shouldn't. Well, no, you shouldn't expect a response until the following Monday. And that's important to keep in mind because all of our deadlines are on Sunday. So if you have a question about an assignment, you really need to start that assignment before Friday so that you can ask me any questions. Because if you start Friday night or Saturday and then suddenly you have a question, you won't get it answered before that assignment is due. All right. So keep that in mind. I don't respond to email over the weekends, but I do my best to respond within 24 hours during the week. Now, if it goes 48 hours and you've not heard from me, send me another email. If it's gone 2 days and you've not got a reply from me, send me another email. If you go a week, so 2 48-hour periods, which is 4 days. If you go most of a week, sorry. All right, if you go most of a week, I was considering 4 days a week because we only have 4 days of class days. Anyway, if you go 4 days without a response from me, then shoot an email to the admin assistant or maybe join me during my office hours because your email's being routed to my spam or something. All right, because I will do my best. Like I said, I'll do my best to respond within 24 hours every time. But if it goes 48 hours, send me another one. If it goes longer than that and you still haven't heard from me, thumbs up. All right, so find another way to get a hold of me, either through the psych department admin assistant or by joining me during my office hours. Now, I will mention that, yes, I do have a phone number, and yes, you can call me and leave a message, and I will get it, all right, but I'll probably reply via email. Okay. The rest of this information I'd really like you to check out, especially these course objectives, but I'm going to bring your attention right here, all right, to the textbooks, to the textbook and materials. That's your textbook, all right, and you do need it. Now, here's the thing. Whether you buy it digitally or physically is up to you. What you do need is Mindtap Access. And so, you know, I know some of my students take advantage of something called Cengage Unlimited. So you pay one yearly subscription fee. I mean, if you pay the yearly subscription fee, I think it's almost $200. But you get access to every book Cengage has. And you get access to all of their learning systems like Mindtap. All right. So if you have a lot of classes that use Cengage, then to me it sounds like a pretty good deal. And the students who have told me about it seem to find it to be a pretty good deal. Now, more important than anything is that Mindtap Access, because with it you will get a digital book, but you also need it to accomplish a good chunk of the assignments. And if you can't accomplish those assignments, then you won't be able to pass the class. All right, so you need the book, and primarily you need Mindtap Access, because, and I say primarily you need Mindtap Access because with Mindtap comes a digital version of the book. If you buy a brand new book, you can get the digital key with it. I just think it costs more. So do the most cost-effective thing. Do the thing, whatever's cheapest. I was a poor college student, so I can appreciate doing things in the most cost-effective way possible. All right, guys, that's it for this introductions video. In the next video I'm going to post, I'm going to go over the assignments in the class, and that's probably going to be the one that most people spend the most time watching. So be on the lookout for that. If you have any questions, either from this video or any other, don't hesitate to send your questions my way. If not, have a great one, and I'll see you next time.